Merry Christmas, everyone. Alright, welcome back to another episode of Willie's Workshop. A little bit something different today amongst the chaos that is Christmas. We're in the kitchen and we're doing a little bit of making something different. Not quite cars, not quite gasoline, but very close. So right here we have some chili-infused apple cider. So what we're making today is a drink called Stone Wall. Now, I don't know who created this, but I know it's popular in a bar in Auckland in New Zealand called Ghost Donkey, which is very similar, if not an exact copy of a previous bar in New York called Ghost Donkey, which also had this drink on their menu. So I've already prepared these, so unfortunate for you, you don't get to see me just boringly cutting chilies in half and then inserting them into these bottles. Now, a couple of things I will say, and I should have filmed this because it might have been good for you to see, is that, and you'll see this when we open one, is that when you put chilies inside it, it creates a lot of froth. So basically all we did, we got some chilies. We didn't have, I think it suggested habanero. We didn't have any in stock. It's a little bit early in the year for that. So we just got regular chilies from the supermarket, long reds, cut them in half and push them in. I think the recipe said about 15 chilies to a gallon of cider, which in New Zealand terms is about 15 chilies still to close to 4 litres, 3.8 litres of cider. So what we have is 5 chilies cut in half, basically in each of the 6 cider bottles that we have. So it's real simple. What we are going to do is we're going to go through the process of making the cocktail itself, and a little bit around that explain what we're using and basically how we put it together and things to look out for. So if I grab some of the other ingredients that we are using here today, first thing up is grenadine syrup, which is pomegranate syrup. So it does suggest use pomegranate liquor. There was none in stock in any of the stores locally, so we're using pomegranate syrup. It'll basically do the same job, just slightly less alcohol, but there's not a lot of this, so we're not missing out on much. The next thing we are using is mezcal. So just down to the store, they only had 1 bottle in stock, well, 3 or 4 bottles, but only of the one brand. So this is what we've got. It's creyente. It's mezcal. So you need a bottle of that. Slightly less popular than the main ingredient, which is tequila. Now, the recipe did say that they use espolon, which is, we had it in stock, and it's the reposado tequila. So pretty common. You can kind of get any brand that you want. I haven't tried this yet. I was pretty keen to get some bottles of this and give it a bit of a taste test anyway. So what we'll be doing first, like I said, I've been infusing the chilies. So I've left this for about 90 minutes now. It meant to be an hour and check on it, but you get busy, and then so a lot of this has been sitting for 90 minutes. I've already made up some, and it is spicy. So definitely, if you are a little unsure of the spice level, make sure you check it every half an hour or so. I didn't really want to open it, and you'll see why in a moment. Because it is a bit of a problem, but I believe if you transferred or use a different size bottle or something rather than one of these PET plastic with a tiny lid, this will create a lot of froth when the oxygen when it oxygenizes. So if you use a different container, you're probably not going to run into some of these issues that I'm running into. And you will be able to check it more easily, but I've left mine for 90 minutes and it's got a good kick to it. Very similar to what I remember when I had this in the bar. So with that being said, I will show you how I am dealing with this, and then we'll move on to actually making our cocktails in our little preservation jars that we're going to be able to hand out to people for Christmas presents. Awesome, so we've got a few tools here. We've got a measuring cup, we've got a shot cup, although this is quite a funny size, so I'm not using this anymore to make my batches, and I've got some measuring spoons, all the standard sizes. Other things I have is a sieve for separating the chilies, because we don't want the particles in our cocktails, that would be not so nice. And we've also got a funnel just for helping it get into things. So I'm also got this bowl for collecting overflow, and this jug just to make it easier to pour into all the containers. So, long story short, what I am doing is opening these up in here, and you will see why in 3, 2, 1. Bit of chemistry class or something. It's lava, baking soda and vinegar flowing time, something like that anyway. Oh, you can feel the chili and the aromas getting in the air. So what we want to do now is just separate the cider from the chili. Excellent. And now we have a jar of a cider infused with chili, and it's far more lethal than it looks. Oh, I must say, it's the strangest sensation. I'm normally used to making spices, and spices in the nostrils, in the throat, and you can feel it coming into you and affecting you. I can't feel the sensation of breathing in spicy alcohol, but it's still making me cough. Now, for this next part, we're actually going to make up a cocktail, our cocktail jars. So what we are doing is I'm making 3 times the recipe. So basically there is a recipe for a cocktail of about, I think it comes to about 180 mils all up in metric. An imperial that is, if I can remember off the top of my head, 6 ounces. I think that's correct, yeah. So it's a 6-ounce cocktail. So essentially I'm making 18 ounces, or these are 500 ml jars and they hold just a little bit more than 500. So really, that's what I'm making up. So it is 3 times the recipe. So what the recipe is, 1 ounce tequila, also known as 30 mils, half an ounce of mezcal, also known as 15 mils, half an ounce of pomegranate liqueur or syrup, also known as 15 mils, and 4 ounces of our chili-infused cider, or 120 mils. For ease of measurement, I know I'm making 3 times that, so 1 cup is 250 mils, so basically a cup and a half of this, of cider. Now, I was using the shot glass earlier, but I have measured this out with my measuring spoons, and it's weird. It's just a cheap one, and it's not actually too accurate to anything. So what I am now doing is I'm using my tablespoon, which is also 20 mils, and a teaspoon, which is 5 mils. So what I really want is I want 3 ounces of this, which is 90 mils, 1.5 ounces of this, which is 45 mils, and the same again, 1.5 ounces, 45 mils. So this bottle's getting a bit low, but I've got plenty more in stock. So really, I want 4 of these big bad boys and then 2 small boys. Alright, that's 4 big boys and 2 small boys. Pretty much bang on there. Now for each of these, it's half of that. So 2 big boys and 1 small boy. And now for my favourite part, this is where we get our colour. Oh, just beautiful. Look at that. So now that we've made up our cocktail, what I am doing is I am jarring these and preserving these, but it's not quite there yet. There's a few extra ingredients and things we need to do when we're serving this to our customers, which we will show you right here. So here we are, and this is how you plate up a Stonewall. So yeah, we'll first start with ice. It's better if you've got a big square ice cube, but small ones will do. Now each one of these jars I've made up is 2 to 3 drinks. We want a nice big strong one today, so we'll go with half a jar. Yummy. And just to garnish it off, we'll take some apple slices and we just lay them on top, and a spoonful of pomegranates. Now you can get these from your supermarket just about everywhere in the season, or you can buy yourself a fresh pomegranate and shell it out yourself. Merry Christmas, everyone.